You have probably heard the phrase Patrician Brothers many times. You all attend a school established by the Patrician Brothers, and many of you attend a school with Patrician Brothers as a part of the name of your college. You would know, or will come to know, of many other schools that are named after other types of brothers. For example, Marist Brothers Parramatta, Christian Brothers Lewisham, and De La Salle Brothers Ashfield. And there are schools named after sisters as well: Sisters of Mercy, Sisters of St. Joseph, and the Brigidine Sisters. A school is often named after these groups of brothers and sisters because they started the school in the days when the government did not provide money for Catholic and private schools. Do you know what Patrician Brothers means? Firstly, patrician. Patrician has a couple of meanings, one to do with the social classes of ancient Rome. But the meaning we are concerned with is things which are connected to St. Patrick. Most, if not all of you, would have heard of St. Patrick. He played a major role in establishing Christianity in Ireland over 1600 years ago. And every year, St. Patrick Day is celebrated around the Western world. In Australia, we more often use the title Patrician Brothers, but the official name of the brothers is the Brothers of St. Patrick. When the Brothers of St. Patrick started in Ireland in 1808, the bishop who established them made St. Patrick their patron. That is, the saint the brothers would especially turn to for inspiration and in prayer. So, that's patrician. What about brother? What does it mean? In society, we hear the word brother used in several but somewhat similar ways. If your parents have a son other than you, then he is your brother. If there is a boy you consider a very close friend, you might sometimes address him as brother or even bro. When you call someone brother, it means you are saying there is a close connection between you and that person. Apart from meaning that you share the same parents, it means that you feel an affection for that person, that you share similar or the same important interests and goals. Because of that sense of brotherhood, you want to be with that person. You want to share the same activities. You want to help him in any way you can. Wanting to be with someone, to share with someone, or wanting to help someone is what it means to be a brother. Whether it is being a brother at home, a brother in the playground, or whether it is being a patrician brother. A man who declares himself a patrician brother, or a Marist brother, or a Christian brother, is saying that he wants to be a brother to all. When a man says, "I am Brother Joseph," he is not using brother as some type of title or rank like captain, or academic status like doctor. He is saying, "My name is Joseph, and I want you to think of me as your brother. I want to be with you, I want to share with you, I want to help you in any way I can. And I want to do that not because I like you, but because I love you." Yes, because I love you. Obviously, if Brother Joseph is meeting you for the first time, he can neither really like you nor dislike you, but he can love you, because that is what God wants of all human creation. It is what Christ called us to do, to love God and to love your neighbour as you love yourself. Patrician Brothers, Marist Brothers, Mercy Sisters and Sisters of St. Joseph, for example, are also known as religious brothers and religious sisters. What this has come to mean is that these men and women have made a very special dedication of their lives to loving God and loving and serving God's creation. As Christians, we are all called to dedicate our lives to God and to each other. Being baptized and being confirmed are sacraments through which we are dedicated, or we dedicate our lives to God and all of God's creation. When a man or a woman marry in a Christian marriage ceremony, they are dedicating themselves to each other, to their children, and to God. To indicate the completeness and holiness of this dedication or commitment, the man and woman make a vow, a holy promise.
For the honor of God, and moved by a firm resolve to consecrate myself more fully to Him, and to follow Christ more closely in my whole life.
This is what religious brothers and religious sisters do too. They take vows to commit themselves to God, to their congregations of brothers or sisters, and to the service of others. But they don't just make one vow, they make three. They make a vow of obedience, obeying the directions of those in authority over them, as they see them as a means of God speaking to them in their lives. They make a vow of chastity, through which they commit themselves to loving God first and then all of creation equally, without any discrimination. And the third vow taken is the vow of poverty. This means much more than just being poor. A brother is poor in the sense that he owns nothing himself. All that he has belongs to the congregation he is a member of. Most brothers have a car, a laptop and/or a desktop, an iPhone and such. But these are not their own property. They are owned by the congregation. The brother would use them to assist him in his work. A much more important aspect of the vow of poverty is placing your trust in God. Do not cling on to things. God will provide. As Jesus said on the Mount, "Blessed are the poor in spirit." So, when a man becomes a Patrician brother, he dedicates his whole life to God by taking the vows of obedience, chastity, and poverty. But there is more to being a brother than that. Being a brother suggests that he is a part of a family or a close group of people or community. Patrician brothers live with other Patrician brothers, usually 3 or 4 other brothers. This is in fact an essential part of being a religious brother or religious sister. They do this as a sign to others that we are all called to live as brothers and sisters. They also live in community as a means of support for each other, to support each other in their professional, personal and spiritual lives. And the most important aspect of their spiritual lives, and thus their life in community, is developing and strengthening their relationship with God. Brothers living together in a community pray together 2 or 3 times each day. They also spend time on their own in personal prayer. A brother strives to be a man of prayer, a man fully aware of God's presence with him in the community, in the classroom, meeting with people, believing that God is in the hearts of all people. Being a brother is first and foremost about living a certain way of life, a life completely dedicated to God and God's creation, a life of witnessing to the love of God in our lives, a life lived in community, a life nurtured and sustained by prayer and the sacraments, a life placed in the hands of God, and a life of service. For the Patrician Brothers, this service, also called ministry, is mainly in the area of teaching in schools. This is why Bishop Daniel Delaney started the Patrician Brothers in Ireland over 200 years ago to teach the boys. Now we have brothers teaching boys and some girls in not only Ireland but also in India, the United States, Papua New Guinea, Kenya, Ghana, Sudan, and of course in Sydney. While most brothers are teaching in schools, many of these schools with brothers as principals, some brothers are involved in other forms of service or ministry. There are brothers who minister as medical officers and nurses in hospitals, brothers who work with homeless children, brothers who work in parishes assisting the priest in his ministry, and there are quite a few brothers who look after the spiritual needs of people in hospitals, in nursing homes and in prisons. We call them chaplains. Well, hopefully that gives you some idea of what a Patrician brother is all about. As a Patrician, we look to St. Patrick as our inspiration and as one who can present our prayers and needs to God. As a brother, through 3 vows, we strive to commit our lives entirely to God. We live in a community sharing our skills, our prayers and ourselves. We strive to witness to an all-loving and ever-present God. And through our ministry to others in the classroom or in the prison, we want people to know that, like any brother, we are here to serve and to love them in their needs.